Original Medicare versus Medicare Advantage plans. There's a lot of things that are covered by Original Medicare and Medicare Advantage, but what's covered? How are they covered? What's real? What's a myth? Vision, dental, cost. What's the truth behind all of it? I'm Jake, I'm with Medicare with Jake, and our goal here is to sit down, have a cup of coffee, and let's go through all these things together. Thanks for your time. So if we're looking at Original Medicare versus a Medicare Advantage plan, the first thing we've got to look at is the cost and the coverages, really, because if that's what you're spending, right? What am I getting out of it, and what are my exposures to it, and what's in it for me, right? So Medicare is a great program. It's an amazing program put together in 1965. And since then, it's become a staple of people's health care. But it's also changed and evolved a lot. There's a lot of myths out there, a lot of stuff that people think is real because they read it on Facebook or a friend told them this, and usually what it is, it's an uninformed person telling another person a thing that becomes a truth, right? We all know how that goes. One person tells one person who tells one person who tells one person, and it spits out on the other side as something completely different. So let's dispel all those myths. So first of all, cost and coverages for Original Medicare. If we look at Original Medicare, there are two main parts to Original Medicare. There's Medicare Part A, which is your hospital, Medicare Part B, which is your medical, aka doctor coverage. So if that's all you have, and we've actually met a ton of our current people out there that had just that when we met them originally. And so I'll get into more some of those stories later. But Original Medicare Part A, let's say you go to the hospital. When you go to the hospital, you're going to owe a deductible for being admitted to the hospital in 2022, $1,556. That's a lot of money right out the gate. That's whether you're there 1 day, 2 days, all the way up to day 60. Now here's where the kicker comes in. A lot of people don't understand this, but if you are unfortunate enough to be in the hospital after 60 days, so from day 61 all the way to day 90, each single day you're going to pay $389 per day. I don't know about you, I don't want to pay that. That's a lot of money, right? So after that, it gets even worse. It gets into $778 a day on the 91st day and beyond for what's called your lifetime reserve days. And there is a number of days that are allowed in total. So we're not going to dive into every single depth of it. This is kind of a high level view, but enough to give you an information so you can make the right decision for you, your finances, and your family. And that's the goal. Keep in mind, guys, whatever you decide to do or not do, your coverage and what you choose is most likely going to look different than your friends, neighbors, and so forth, because everybody has different wants, needs, and so forth. So if we look at Medicare Part A and that deductible, you could think about being in the hospital and paying that $1,556. Also to keep in mind, while you're there, you're also going to be billed 20% of all doctor charges. So you think about somebody's in there for 3 days, has a heart attack. It seems like nowadays they get people in and they get people right back out, right? That's just kind of how it works nowadays in the hospital. So let's say that you're in there for 3 days. Well, every time a doctor reads a chart, comes into your room, reads a MRI or whatever, you're getting billed 20% of this ongoing. The surgeon that did the surgery, you're paying 20% of that. And so we've had people literally go in that we've met after the fact and be in the hospital for 3 days and come out and owe $32,000. Another lady owed $64,000. Like, these are numbers that could bankrupt people. This isn't even the situation that somebody was in the hospital for 120 days or 300 days. Now, you know, and I know, odds of that's not common, right? That's not the everyday person. But what I don't want, and nobody wants, is for you to go into the hospital for 1 to 5 days, which is very common at a hospital stay, and come out owing an untold amount. That's the part that scares me. The way my wife and we run our finances, I don't want an unknown amount. Well, you could spend nothing, you could spend hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars and be bankrupt. That's scary to me, and it should be scary to you if you're looking at your finances. Even if you have the finances to cover that kind of thing, there's better ways out there to cover that and put that risk onto another situation. That's what insurance is for, right? That's why we're going to talk about Medicare Advantage alongside it. So there's also Medicare Part B. Remember, we talked about there's two parts, two main parts, A and B. Well, B is your Part B deductible. That's your doctor. So when you go to the doctor, the beginning of the year, you've got a deductible. In 2022, that's $233. After that, you're paying 20% ongoing. So you go to your primary doctor for the flu or whatever it is, you're going to pay 20%. Now, above and beyond that, the doctor says, you know, I want you to go over here and get this MRI done, or I want you to get whatever this is, you know, you're now paying 20% of this specialist visit at the cardiologist. You're paying 20% of this. That can all stack up. Again, it's kind of an unknown amount. How much are they billing? What does Medicare approve? All this different stuff. So it can really add up to a pretty scary number. The unknown is kind of scary, at least to me, right? Another couple things to keep in mind is that in general, Medicare does not cover dental. Like, they're not going to cover your cleanings. They're not going to cover a root canal or a crown or a bridge, dentures, partials, anything like that. In general, they're not going to cover hearing aids. You know, there are some, like the cochlear implants and stuff, that can be approved for certain things, but just, you know, hey, due to old age, I need hearing, which is very common, you know, due to my age, I need this. It's not a thing that's covered by Medicare, and that stuff can be very expensive, and trying to navigate where to go and how to do it can become very complicated. So some of the downsides that we look at is, for me, if I'm going on Medicare, I'm looking at the unknown cost, high cost, and some of the things that aren't covered. So let's take that and let's flip over to a Medicare Advantage plan, and let's kind of compare side by side, right? Okay, so that's where we're gonna stop for this piece of the video. But make sure and follow and check out the second and third part and the different parts. You wanna see this through the end. It will help you make a good decision. Thanks a lot.